When upgrading your wheels, it has long been said that you should either go for a shallow set of wheels or a deep set of wheels. But what happens if there is an in-between? If you could pair a shallower set with a deeper set for the best of both worlds? Well, today, using the Cadex 42 and the Cadex 65, I'm going to investigate. But before we go any further, let's provide a little bit of context. Mismatched wheels aren't unheard of in cycling. They've long been used in time trials, where racers will pair a disc wheel with a shallower section on the front. They're even in use in mountain biking, where professional racers will use a 29-inch wheel on the front and a 650B wheel on the rear. These are known as mullet bikes because, well, they're business up front and party on the back. On the road though, you typically opted for a matching pair, either shallow or deep sections. Now, shallow section wheels were used for winter training miles, and these are usually made of aluminium, or they're made of carbon fiber and are specific for hill climbing. These come with many benefits. They're lightweight, they're agile, and they tend to fare better in crosswinds. At the other end of the spectrum though, there are deep section wheels. These are anywhere between 60 and 85 millimeters deep and made of carbon fiber. Typically used by pro racers or time trialists seeking an aerodynamic advantage, as well as the efficiency gains that the deeper profile offers. However, these do not fare as well in crosswinds and can be a little tricky to descend on because of that. But then enter player 3. The midsection wheel. These range anywhere between 35 and 45 millimeters deep and have become hugely popular both at an amateur level and at a pro level, almost eclipsing the shallow section wheel entirely. Now today we're pairing a midsection wheel with a deep section wheel to see if you can get the best of both worlds. The climbing ability and the handling prowess of a shallower section with the stiffness and the aerodynamics of a deep section. But first of all, let's think about why you might not want to pair a shallower section on the front and a deep section on the rear. Aerodynamics. So let's say you're a racer or somebody that owns an aero bike and you like to feel the benefit of aerodynamics when you're riding fast. You might think it's counterintuitive because a deep section wheel is more aerodynamic, right? But actually, studies have shown that the biggest increase in efficiency through the air is from a box section wheel to a midsection wheel, sometimes to the sum of a huge 20 watts. Now, why this might be is largely down to the design of the rim. That's to say, a box section wheel is unlikely to have had any real aerodynamic focus put into its design, whereas this high-end Cadex wheel definitely has. So for example, these wheels are hookless, which means the bead inside the rim has been removed. This usually used to hold the tire in place. Now, by removing that, Cadex engineers have been able to improve the airflow from the rim to the tire, therefore making it more aerodynamic. These wheels also have aero-optimized carbon spokes, which again make it more efficient when riding at speed. In comparison, the jump from a midsection wheel to a deep section wheel is, well, less dramatic, and this is because the hard work has sort of already been done at that shallower level. So there's less to gain aerodynamically speaking from going deeper and more to lose in terms of handling, but we'll come on to that bit in a little while. The second reason you might not mismatch your wheels in this way is that you love to climb and you're on a constant quest to bring down the weight of your bike. Of course, if you are heading into the mountains or even your local hills, then a super shallow section carbon fiber wheel is going to offer you a weight benefit. But there is one key consideration at this point, and that's that aerodynamics comes into play at any speed over 16 kilometers an hour. Now remember how I said that the jump in aerodynamics was huge between a box section and a midsection wheel? Well, that's worth remembering if you're racing, climbing at speed, or even just riding up gradients that aren't particularly steep, because you won't want to miss out on that aerodynamic benefit. Now, the benefit of having that deeper section wheel on the rear for when you're climbing is that deeper sections are stiffer and convert your input into forward momentum much more efficiently, which is great when you need all the help you can get when climbing. But don't just take my word for it, there are pros in the pro peloton who are using mismatched wheels like this right the way through the Grand Tours. Alessandro De Marchi, for example, loves to ride with a shallower section on the front and a deep section on the rear. In fact, right the way across the pro peloton, you rarely see a shallow section carbon wheel, even in the high mountains. Now, teams are opting more and more to use mid-section wheels, and this is because the weight penalty is no longer as great with the advances in technology and carbon fibre, especially at the top end price point. So if climbing and aerodynamics are two reasons that you might consider not mismatching your wheels, then I can definitely think of some reasons why you should. Namely, improved handling when descending. By doing all of that climbing with a midsection on the front, when you get to the top and start going down the other side, you're really going to notice the benefits in the agile handling and less susceptibility to crosswinds. Now, if you're descending at 65 kilometers an hour and your front wheel gets taken by a rogue bit of wind, let me tell you from experience that that's pretty scary. So where midsection wheels provide a lot of benefit is in their stability. Because of that lowest surface area, they're much less likely to being caught by crosswinds, will feel much more agile when you're descending, and therefore increase your confidence. So would you go for a mismatched set of wheels when you're next upgrading your hoops? Well, clearly there are some pretty compelling reasons to do so, but there is one fairly large caveat, and that's, whilst we've spoken a lot about aerodynamics, a set of well-optimized aero hoops does cost a lot of money, and it depends whether your budget stretches that far. However, there are plenty of other arguments for sticking a mid-section wheel on the front, including improved agility, better bike handling, and all-round improved biking confidence. And what's more, there are plenty of decent carbon hoops at a midsection depth that roll really well without breaking the bank. So we hope this video has helped you when it comes to considering what depths to go for next with your wheels. If you have found it useful, do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to the Cycling Weekly YouTube channel. Now I'll be back soon with some more great tech content, and I'll see you then.